Hi, this is Jason Nickleby, Coordinator of Officials with the Minnesota State High School League, and this is Football Officiating Training Tape number 5. I'm going to take a look at line of scrimmage, mechanics, philosophy, positioning primarily this week, and hopefully these plays are helpful for your crew as you're getting ready for this week's games and throughout the season. Again, not picking on any one team, official, or crew, just hoping to learn from these plays as we go through the season. So with that, let's get to the plays. On this play, we have an attempted pass up the seam, and it's ultimately intercepted, and we have excellent mechanics by our line of scrimmage official, line judge at the bottom of the screen. Good turn and help by the umpire as well. Pretty athletic play, and we let him make it. Good patience. I like how we maintained our position at the line of scrimmage until the pass is imminent, and then we come down, we square off, come in and sell, 2 swipes and point. So just really well done mechanically. Good coverage, umpire, excellent turn and help to confirm what we have, and we have 2 swipes and point. Very decisive on a very nice play by the defensive player. So because we have patience and good mechanics, good positioning, our vision goes to where it needs to be to see this, and we allow the defensive player to make an excellent defensive play. So excellent mechanics, maintaining our spot at the line of scrimmage, umpire turning and helping, come in, square off, 2 swipes, and point. Very decisive and excellent mechanics by the line judge. Okay, we have a scrimmage kick here, about 18 seconds to go, third quarter. Lots of interesting aspects of this play: mechanics, philosophy, rules knowledge, penalty enforcement. So really interesting play to dissect and look at all the different aspects that we have to concern ourselves with this play. So first thing, we have a rugby style kick. You'll see that the kicker comes towards the bottom of the screen, and referees, that means we need to be aware of Rule 945, specifically when it's going to be roughing the kicker. And contact has to be unavoidable because it's not reasonably certain that a kick will be made. So if the kicker doesn't establish himself as a kicker and kick, and you can clearly tell that a kick's going to take place, he's still a runner, then he wouldn't get the same protection. So if you judge him to be a runner, he wouldn't get the same protection as if it's obvious that a kick is going to take place. So that's the first rule that we need to be aware of, referees. So we're in good position. We view that. Second thing, mechanically, line judges were releasing on the snap. Even though you have a foul on this play, you need to continue to officiate, which we do, but don't get so caught up in your initial foul that you forget to officiate the rest of the play. Head linesman, I like how we come down and get the spot. When it's this close to the line of scrimmage, 10-15 yards-ish, the line of scrimmage is going to have to come and get it. Back judge, that means your vision is going to have to change, your focus. You're going to have to go to blocks, late hit type action, and let the line of scrimmage official come down and pick up the spot, especially on one this close to the line of scrimmage. And again, a reminder, the spot is the least important aspect of this play. Coaches and teams will not care if we miss a spot by a yard or 2, but they will care if we miss a personal foul or a big ticket item like that. So we want to make sure we get those. So back judges, when we know we're not going to get the spot, like in this particular play, our vision should change and should go to blocks and late hit type of action out in front of the ball carrier or return player, like in this case. So that's what our mechanics should be. Back judges, head linesmen as well. And then umpires, make sure we back away from the ball. Don't turn your back on the ball or players, because if they snap it, 2 things. One, we're not going to be in very good position to see everything we need to see. Second thing, and most importantly, we're not going to be in a safe position to officiate. So we're going to need to shut the play down. So just make sure we back out so we can keep players in front of us. And we should be doing that on every scrimmage down, not just on punts. We should be doing that on every scrimmage down. Back away from the ball and keep everything in front of you. So the second aspect here is take a look at the player at the bottom of the screen. You see that he comes out there, doesn't really know he's supposed to be out there. He's trying to get out, figure out that he's supposed to be set or not. Doesn't really know what he's supposed to be doing. You'll see that the defensive player picks him up. But the first thing we need to think about is substitution and illegal participation factors. So with that, philosophy-wise, if the defensive player picks him up like he does in this particular case, that's good enough. Let's not have ticky-tack substitution participation fouls. We're looking for clear intent to deceive, hideout type plays, unsportsmanlike conduct. That's what we're looking for when it comes to these kinds of things. If the defense picks him up, that's good enough. If they don't pick him up and he doesn't meet the aspects of the rule as it relates to being a proper substitute, becoming a player, then we can go ahead and call that. But in this case, the defensive player picks him up. Philosophy-wise, let's just stay away from illegal substitution and illegal participation when the opposing team is able to see them and then cover them adequately like they do in this play. Now, the second aspect of that we need to concern ourselves with as the line of scrimmage official is, what are we going to do with his motion? Technically, illegal motion. So if you look at 727, talking about the fact that only one player can be in motion, and it talks about players in motion from the line of scrimmage, and they need to get at least 5 yards behind the ball. If he started on a position not clearly behind the line, which he doesn't here, to me, that's way too technical to get involved with on that kind of a play with illegal motion. To me, we should call this a full start and just have a fresh start for this play. The player doesn't know where he's supposed to be, doesn't know what he's doing. Nothing good comes from having a player participate in a down when he really doesn't know where he's supposed to line up or what he's supposed to be doing. So to me, I would shut this down as a false start, 5-yard penalty, 4th down, and just have a fresh start. Now, technically by rule, it is illegal motion, so if you go with that, we're good with that and we can support it. But philosophy-wise, to me, just call this a false start and have a fresh start. Now, if we call illegal motion, which we do here, that's totally fine. Now it becomes, what are our options penalty enforcement-wise? And that aspect is covered in Rule 10.4.2, exception. And if you recall last year, they added in the option for R to either enforce penalties from the previous spot or from the succeeding spot on kick plays. Now, last year it was the entire kick down, which is not really what the committee intended. So this year made an editorial change to the basic spot, and that is found at 10.4.2 exception. And it says that the basic spot may, at the option of the offended team, be the succeeding spot for fouls by K during a free or scrimmage kick down other than kick catch interference prior to the end of the kick, when K will not be next to put the ball in play. So in this particular case, we have a foul by K. It's at the snap, so prior to the end of the kick. So we need to know a definition of what the end of the kick is. So it's prior to the end of the kick, which means that previous spot or succeeding spot are options for Team R. Since Team K is not next to put the ball in play, Team R is next to put the ball in play. So we need to remember to give them both options. We don't do that here. We make them decline it and to keep it at where they subsequently ended up with the ball, which was the rule, 2 years ago and many years before that. That was the rule. Now we have succeeding spot as an option. So, off guys, back judge, other line of scrimmage official, umpire, if they're having this discussion and they're thinking about declining the foul, which we do here, we need to get involved and say, you know what, they have an option. They can go previous spot or succeeding spot? What do they want to do? Then we can have that conversation with the affected team. So it's a point of emphasis nationally. Fouls on K being enforced at the previous spot or succeeding spot at the option of Team R, because it's a point of emphasis because we've struggled with remembering that that's an option. So just get it in your repertoire that they have that option. This is a pretty good example of that we have a foul by K. Succeeding spot is absolutely the choice that they would take, and we need to remember to give them that option. So a lot going on in this play, both mechanics, philosophy, judgment, rules, penalty enforcement. Just a really interesting play to dissect. And, you know, when you're looking at this play from your position, just keep in mind all the aspects that you have to think about, judge, communicate when you have a play like this one. So really good play to look at and something to think about as a crew. Okay, pass play here on 2nd and 9. We have excellent mechanics, positioning, and presence on this play. So first thing, we have drop back, rolls out to the referee's side, referee backs straight up, and then we continue to officiate from inside out. That's exactly what we want to do. We have a much better perspective of roughing the passer, targeting type action on the passer. Again, by rule, they're not defenseless, but we still need to keep an extra eye on the quarterback. He's a pretty vulnerable player in this kind of position, so we need to keep an eye on him. And we do. We officiate inside out, so we have a much better look at this contact. And you can see the referee in the screen. Look at his vision. He's looking at the quarterback. That's exactly what he should be doing. That is excellent. Line of scrimmage officials maintaining the line until the pass is imminent, and then we turn and officiate the pass for catch, no catch. It's intercepted, and then you see the umpire and back judge come in. Excellent presence. Just really good example of officiating our primary responsibilities and then trusting our crewmates to officiate what they need to officiate. So you'll notice inside out officiating by the referee, line of scrimmage officials maintain their spot, umpire up to the line, turns and helps with catch, no catch, and then excellent presence, kill the clock, come in, be with players. Just overall an excellent example of mechanics and coverage by the crew. Okay, on this play, I want to talk about line of scrimmage mechanics and how we coordinate with our fellow line of scrimmage official to get forward progress spots on plays like this one. So you'll see that we have a 3rd and 15 play, so obvious passing situation. So they're going to pass out near the sideline. Number 12 is going to get to the sticks and then run kind of a curl pattern to the outside right near the sticks and catch it, and he'll get immediately contacted by the defensive player number 25, and he ultimately goes to the ground. So we want to make sure we give the receivers every yard that they've earned. And this is tough when we're taking the play from behind, which we do. This is excellent mechanics by the head linesman here, taking the play from behind. That's exactly how we want to do it. Now, because it's a forward progress kind of play where he's pushing him back from a previously attained yard line, we need to use crossfield mechanics to pick up the proper spot. So you'll see that he really catches it about 1 yard short of the line to gain and is immediately driven back, which means that's the forward progress spot that he should be given. And the only way we're going to get that spot is if the line judge picks up that spot. So you'll see there he gets hit roughly a yard or two away from the line to gain, and we only give him the 19-yard line. So we're about 2 yards off or so on this spot. And so there's two things here mechanically. Head linesman, I like how we take the play from behind, but what we should do for the spot while we're winding the clock, we should look across the field for the line judge who should have the spot for you. So while you're winding the clock, you pick him up, and then you can mirror that spot, and then we'll go with that. That means line judge, in this particular case, you need to get down there and help with this forward progress spot. And maybe you were, it's hard to tell from this particular look. But head linesman, you need to look across, pick up the crossfield spot from the line judge, because again, I believe we're about a yard or two off on this. And that's a pretty significant difference on a play like this, because instead of having 4th and 1, which is maybe a little bit more doable, now that brings up 4th and 3 in the red zone, no less. And that makes it a pretty tough choice on the team of whether we're going to go for a field goal or go for the first down. So head linesman, again, like how you took him from behind, catch, no catch, take that all in nice and slow, but make sure we pick up the line judge across the way for cross field spot. Line judge, get down there and help out. And, you know, again, good job with clock status, but we're off by a couple yards, and it's a pretty big difference at this part of the field at this time of the game in a close game. So we want to make sure that we get these as close to accurate as we can, and the only way we can do that is if we use crossfield mechanics. Okay, in this play, 9 seconds to go, first half. They're trying to run out the clock, but then he ends up getting hit out of bounds by the defensive player, and this is just excellent focus, excellent job of game control by the line judge here by having this unnecessary roughness foul out of bounds. 22's contact is good, but 25 is definitely not good. Clearly in the white. We don't want to get fooled on these kinds of plays where sometimes we call fouls on plays where contact is at or near the white, but when you look on replay, they still have contact with the field of play. But this is clearly in the white when contact is made by number 25, and he's properly called for a foul. Now, what I would say is, and it's tough in 5-person, is maybe we have to get a beanbag down for the spot and then get to players, especially in the opponent's bench area. If you feel like nothing's going to happen, then that's fine. Maintain your spot. But again, the spot's the least important aspect here. We want to make sure that we don't have a altercation, fight, anything like that. So if we have to put a beanbag down and leave it to go officiate players, I'm good with that. If nothing happens, and nothing really happens here, but just something to keep in mind, that when you have a late hit type foul, that's more likely to elicit an emotional response, and we want to make sure that we have a presence. But I really like how we kept our focus and have a game control foul in this play. Okay, pass play here. Long developing play, quarterback in the pocket for quite a while, then gets flushed out. Referee lets the quarterback pass his face, officiates inside out, which is what we want to see. A lot easier to officiate roughing the passer, targeting, that kind of contact, so really well done. And then this is a kind of play where the line of scrimmage officials really earn their money. And in this particular case, the line judge earns his money and then some. Probably earns the head linesman's money too. So he helps out at the line of scrimmage, has to maintain his spot till the pass is imminent, help with quarterback inbounds, out of bounds, and then he has to turn and officiate a real tight catch, no catch, interception at the sideline, all confirmed by replay. So this is excellent mechanics, excellent coverage, and then a really good sell to give this defensive player number 9 a quality play. Just really well done, line judge here. Referee 2 lets him pass the face, clearly in bounds. Then he turns and officiates the interception, comes down in the white, couple swipes, turns and points. So just really well done mechanically, really well done coverage-wise. Referee and line judge, and then back judge is also there to help as well. So just really like this example. Excellent officiating on a tough play. Really sells our program well. Okay, in this play, 37 seconds to go. Time is a factor. So umpires going sideline to sideline using cross-field mechanics to get the ball down on the ground. We'll have a fumble here in the side zone and a big pileup. So we don't know who has it. I like our mechanics. We come in, have a presence. We kill the clock till we figure out who has it. We dig. Make sure we don't have all 5 officials or even 4 in there digging. We want to make sure we have some officials back viewing the action, and we do in this case. So that's well done mechanically. Get in, figure out who has it. If the offense retains possession, we're going to wind the game clock, which is what the referee does here. If not, we're going to give it to the defense and start on the snap, obviously. But if it's the offense that retains possession, as they do here, we're going to wind the game clock and then get into position to officiate. What I want to point out on this play is an interesting change as it relates to the 40-second play clock for this year. Last year, not as big of a deal. We could wind it back up and then blow in the 25-second play clock separately. This year, the 40-second play clock will be going during this time while we're trying to figure out who has it, even though the game clock is stopped. We'll wind up the game clock. The play clock will be going simultaneously. Back judges, if it falls below 25, let's pump it back up. If it falls well below that and you think the offense is at a disadvantage, then let's stop the game clock, reset the play clock to 25 seconds, reset the game clock in a corresponding fashion, and then we will wind up both of them, referees, once everyone is in position to officiate and we have the ball on the ground. So that's how we want to handle this mechanically with the 40-second play clock. We're going to wind the game clock if the offense gets it back, and we will have the 40-second play clock running this entire time. And if it falls below 25 before we figure out who has it, we can kill the play clock as well, pump it back to 25, reset the game clock if we feel that we need to, and then we can wind them both simultaneously if the situation happens as it does in this play. But well done mechanically, coverage. We covered the fumble well, good fumble mechanics, keep a couple officials back, kill the clock, figure out the offense has it, wind it back up, and then we can adjust the 40-second play clock as necessary. So well done by the crew here. Okay, 3rd and 1 here, and we have a run up the middle, really tight to the line to gain. I like how we pinch hard. That's good. Couple things mechanically. Line of scrimmage officials, make sure that we know the line to gain. It's helpful if we can start a series on a big line. Now, a big line does not mean the 30 or the 40. We're not rounding up or rounding down. But if you can put it on a yard line, umpires especially, if we can put the nose of the football on a white line or the back end of the football on a white line or halfway, put it on a definitive mark, we can more easily determine if they've made the line to gain without this big of a delay. So we want to make sure we know the line to gain ahead of time. If we know that they need to reach a line, either the front end or the back end, we can kill the clock and tell the referee we got a first down, especially on a turf field, and we don't need to measure. The referee has to come in, take a look a couple times to figure out if this is a first down. Line of scrimmage officials, we should be killing the clock already. Line judge, especially when we're looking across the field, we should be killing the clock. It's close enough, and then referee can take a look and ship it. But we should be able to tell the referee with pretty good certainty that we know the line to gain and go ahead and ship it. So make sure we know it ahead of time. I like how we pinch. I like that. And the other aspect I like here mechanically, umpire does not toss the ball to the line of scrimmage official. He walks out and hands it to the line of scrimmage official, who puts it down where they want it. Now, the only thing to remember with this is if we end up shipping it as a first down, the ball needs to come back into where it ended, so in the middle of the field. But we give them a first down properly, but just make sure we know the line to gain ahead of time, and if we can put it on a big line, that's the best. Okay, that will do it for training tape number 5. Hopefully these plays are helpful for you and your crew as we've been going through the first few weeks of the season. Just hoping that it's getting you to converse with your crew about mechanics, philosophy, positioning, judgment, how we're going to handle these plays or plays like them, getting our nose in the book and pulling it all together. And I think that's been exemplified by the first 2 weeks going really well, that we're in our mechanics manual, we're in the rule book, and we're really focusing in on those things. So great job so far. Keep it up. And we'll look at some plays again next week. But good luck with your games on Friday, and we'll talk to you next week.